त्वमादिदेवः पुरुषा पुराणः त्वमस्य विश्वस्य परम निधानम वेत्तासि वेद्यम च परम च धाम तया ततम विश्वमनंतरो वायु यमः अग्निवर्णः शशांकः प्रजापतिस्त्वं प्रपितामहस्य नमो नमस्तेस्तु सहस्रकृत्वा पुनश्च भूयोऽपि नमो नमस्ते. You are primeval God, the primordial spirit. You are the ultimate shelter of the universe. You are knower and also knowable, and supreme abode. The universe is fully pervaded by you, being of infinite forms. You are the God of wind, God of death, God of fire, and also God of water and moon, God and great grandfather of beings. Salutation to you. Thousands of salutation for you again and again. Today we are commencing third session of Bhagavad-Gita, knowledge in English. And in second session, I have described the history of Bhagavad-Gita, in which how Bhagavad-Gita is uttered by God, what is atmosphere, and what is the situations, and what is the history of Bhagavad-Gita. And today I want to describe the name of many commentators which have written many commentaries in Sanskrit and English and Marathi and other languages. Many philosophers and many thinkers, many saints have presented their own commentary or on Bhagavad Gita. It is a very most important question, and many prominent persons, philosophers and great saints have tried to define the Bhagavad Gita in his views and his own doctrine, as Advaita doctrine, Dvaita doctrine, and Vishishtadvaita doctrine, and other many doctrines. Persons have described the Bhagavad Gita to give a good foundation of their sentiment and doctrine. And now I am presenting some prominent name of commentator of Bhagavad Gita, which are the great philosopher and thinker and great lauded person of India and also abroad, because many Western philosophers have also defined the Bhagavad Gita in his own languages and also language of Hindi. So I want to present the prominent name of Bhagavad Gita commentators. Firstly, I want to take the name of Adi Shankaracharya. Adi Shankaracharya was born about 2200 years, 2200 years before, in this pious land of India. Adi Shankaracharya written a very interesting and influential commentary on Bhagavad Gita in Sanskrit language and try to define Advait Mat and non-dualistic tradition, Advait Mat. This most popular commentary for learned people who wants to know the real meaning of Bhagavad Gita, it is to be said Shankar Bhasya. The commentary presented by Acharya Shankar, that is to be said Shankar Bhasya, and many other commentaries is based on Shankar Bhasya and try to define Bhagavad Gita. I also want to describe a long discourse on Shankar Bhasya after some time. This is most popular commentary, that is to be said Shankar Bhasya. Second person, Mr. Abhinav Gupta, was a philosopher and learned person of Kashmir province. He wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita by name Gitartham Sangrah. This means a collection of Bhagavad Gita meanings. Gitar Sangrah. Abhinav Gupta is a very prominent name in Kashmir province. And third name of Bhagwan Ramanujacharya. He born in 1017 and death in 1137. And he was the founder of Visishtadvait Mat, was a Hindu philosopher and exponent of Vaishnava tradition. He wrote a Bhasya on Bhagavad Gita. Ramanujacharya disagreed with the Shankaracharya commentary of Advait Mat, and he follows the Visishtadvait Mat. He also wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita or try to define the Visishtadvait Mat, Visishtadvait tradition. After some time, I want to present the meaning of Visishtadvait Mat, Visishtadvait tradition. Third name, Madhvacharya, who was born in 1238 and death in 1317 in Udupi, was a Hindu saint and follows Dvait tradition. He founded Dvait tradition. Dvait means dualist. He defined Dvait Mat, and by to describe Bhagavad Gita knowledge, he also wrote commentary on Brahma Sutra, a great philosophical philosophical book which was written by Bhagwadgita-1. Fifth name of the commentator, Honorable Vallabhacharya, and who born in 1479 in Champaran district, and his death in 1531 in Banaras, UP. He was the founder of Dvaita Mat, pure non-dualism. He also wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita by name Sattva-dipika. His basic principle about mukti, liberation, is based on bhakti devotion. He followed Shuddha-Advaita tradition. Shuddha-Advaita tradition is a doctrine, and he follows the Shuddha-Advaita tradition. Honorable Vallabhacharya was also a great saint of India. And next name of commentator, Mr. Keshav Kashmiri Bhattacharya, born in 1479, wrote a prominent commentary on Bhagavad Gita by name Tattva Prakashika. He was 29th Acharya of Nimbark Sampradaya. Nimbark Sampradaya is also a tradition, and he wants to define the Bhagavad Gita knowledge in Sanskrit language and try to establish the Nimbark tradition. Next name of commentator Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He born in 1486 and his death in 1534 in Jagannath Puri. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a prominent name in the Indian sense, and everyone knows him very well. His full name was Vishambhara Mishra. He was known a combined avatar of Radha and Lord Krishna. This means Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was one body and a combined body of Lord Krishna and Radha. This is sentiment of many people. He has described some part of Bhagavad Gita, not whole Bhagavad Gita. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a prominent sant of India, and he was follower of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya and Achinta Bheda Vedanta tradition. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a great philosopher and saint, and he was a knower of supreme authority and soul. Next name of commentator Honorable Bhaskaracharya. He born 1814 and his death was in 1885 in Ujjain. Denied and disagreed are the Shankaracharya doctrine of Advaita Mat. He written an important commentary on Bhagavad Gita and Brahma Sutra also. He says that Bhagavad Gita define essentially Advait, and he was disagreed from the Shankaracharya Advaita doctrine. Next name of commentator, Honorable Yamunacharya. He was born in 1916 and his death in 1041. Before Ramanujacharya and followers of Visishtadvait Vedanta doctrine, he was also Guru of Ramanujacharya. He wrote an important book on Bhagavad Gita by name of Gitartha Sangraham. Next name of the commentator, Honorable Nimbarkacharya, and he was born in 1130 and died in 12. He was a Hindu philosopher and he was the follower of Dvaita-Dvait doctrine or the tradition. He wrote a commentary on Bhagavad Gita by name of Gita Tattva Prakashika and dedicated to his disciple Keshav. And I have also defined about Keshav in series of commentators. Next name in commentator, Honorable Gyaneshwar. He was born 1275 and died in 1296. Wrote a prominent commentary on Bhagavad Gita by name Gyaneshwari in Marathi language. And Gyaneshwari was a prominent commentary of Bhagavad Gita. This is a specific commentary for learned people. Now, his Hindi translation is available and published by Gita Press Gorakhpur. If you want to know the real meaning of Bhagavad Gita slok, you should sure read the Gyaneshwari. Such a style of commentary cannot be produced in future, and we say for this fact, na bhuto na bhavishyati. He dedicates his bhasya to Bhagwan Shankar. And Gyaneshwar was a great philosopher and saint, and also was a great person. Next name of commentator, Honorable Madhusudan Saraswati. He was born in 1540 and died 1640 in Bangladesh. Was a great philosopher of India. He was the most learned person of Advaita doctrine. Madhusudan Saraswati was a great learned person and great philosopher, and the well knower of Vedic Sanatana Dharma scriptures. And He was born in Bengal, and that place is now in Bangladesh. He wrote a prominent commentary on Bhagavad Gita by name Gurarth Deepika, established Advait doctrine, and this commentary is also in Sanskrit language. Next name of commentator, Honorable Hanumat Ji, written a Paisach Bhashya on Bhagavad Gita to define Advait tradition. He was the follower of Honorable Adi Shankaracharya. This commentary is written to define the Shankar Bhashya in Sanskrit language. And Shankar Bhashya is also in Sanskrit language. And Honorable Hanumat Ji want to describe the Shankar Bhashya in Sanskrit language. Next name in commentator series, Honorable Anand Giri wrote a commentary by name Bhashya Vyakhyanam. He was also a follower of Advait tradition and all the Shankaracharya. Particularly Anand Giri is also written a Bhashya Vyakhyanam to define the Shankar Bhashya. I want to say this fact at this time. Many learned person of Bhagavad Gita has defined the Shankar Bhashya because he is most prominent and real presentation of Bhagavad Gita meanings. Next name in commentator list, Neelkant commentary is also written by name of Bhav Pradeep, is established to a death tradition of our Shankaracharya. It is most important commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Bhav Pradeep is most popular commentary on Bhagavad Gita. Next name of commentator, Honorable Sridhar. He died in 1471, was born in 13th century and in Odisha state at Baleswar district. He was Shankaracharya of Govardhan Puri Peeth. He was 1/16th Jagat Guru tradition. He wrote a particular book on Srimad Bhagavatam